this album you have songs like Only Love Is Real, with all these special arrangements, and it's some sort of fresh air almost at the end of the album. Did you feel like it was a must to have this kind of, because it's some sort of power ballad, uh, this kind of special song in there? Did you feel like you had to
Uh,
do it?
yeah, I mean, of course, first of all, we write the songs as they come along. We don't write song because of this or because of that. It's just we wrote songs for about say 9 months, 8 months,
Yeah,
and then we sat together and we looked at it. What do we have, you know? And then, of course, depends on the song. If you mention Only Love Is Real, she's already a little bit classical approach. We thought it would be a good idea to go further.
yeah,
But this was more done in the end of the production, not from the very beginning.
great. And the album is full of giant riffs, especially with you, and you have songs like My Oh My, which sounds very big. It's quite energetic. Was it easy to compose and record this album with these kind of songs, or did you change your mind a lot while you were doing the album?
And I mean, in the beginning, I mean, once we finished the demos,
Yeah,
we came together with Charlie, and then we had the idea of change a little bit something, doing more, if you want to say, vintage sounding, the vintage sound approach. Although now that the production is finished, I'm not sure if we really follow that. Maybe on some things yes, on some less. Um, Difficult, not more or not less. I think it's an evolution during the recording. The basic setup, studios, the amplifiers, and the guitars was the same like on the last record. So it's not. But of course, every song has its own impact. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So every song has you play it different according to a song. You change the sound a little bit. We changed, for example, on the drums a lot. We changed with the toms. So these kind of things. And then you just do it. And then in the end, where you end up, that's not the story. But I wouldn't say difficult. You just work on it and you go somewhere.
right. The idea that I get, even if the song is energetic, is that these songs could also work in unplugged, maybe with different arrangements in an acoustic guitar. Uh, how do you write normally? Do you always use electric guitar to write songs, or maybe you start a song being an acoustic and then change it to electric?
Um, mostly, I'd say the heavy songs are mostly written on heavy guitars, on
Yeah,
electric guitars.
yeah,
It's rarely a little bit of exceptions, but then maybe on the pop side, then there's a mix. Like on the very melodic side, the melodic songs, there we might have an original idea which came from the acoustic guitar and then moved on. But if you mention on the heavy songs with the riff songs, if I remember correctly, it was always written on electric guitars. It would be a mix of everything.
right. So now, after 25 years of history with Gotthard, and now with Silver, can you say that you can pick a song on Silver and you can say, okay, this sounds like Gotthard and nothing else?
I would say, well, it's difficult to say. Um, I mean, there are maybe the more classic Gotthard that you say, okay, that's Gotthard. Maybe if I would say My Oh My, maybe that's very, very typical Gotthard. And then it depends also which part of Gotthard, because there were in the 25 years, there were different kind of chapters, right?
Yeah.
There was the heavy beginning, there was acoustic, there was more the poppy in the middle, and then back to rock, like for the last 10 years. So, my is for sure a very, very typical one. What can I say? Maybe not fooling anyone is very typically acoustic, which Gotthard made a lot of times. There were some acoustic songs, and then it's a matter of taste. It's difficult to say like that.
All right. Well, Freddy, just to finish the interview, in 25 years, you experienced success, lots of tour changes, you deal with a tragic death of a member. But if you have to remember Gotthard for something in these 25 years, what do you think is the thing that you most remember since you started the band?
That's a very difficult question. Because there's so many things, right? I mean, of course, what the thing that sticks out of anything, which was actually the only part, everything else I would not change it, but of course, Steve's death was like I would say that the main something changed big time,
Yeah.
With humanly, friend, music, everything. So if you leave that away, I would say there were a lot of different little things, and I wouldn't pick one because Gotthard never made like big breaks and then came back and then we never had like a back tour. Oh, we never had it was always within, can I say, the Gotthard program, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, there were peaks, like when we went the first time to Spain, when we went the first time to South America, when we played the first time in Zurich and Allen Stadium, but lots of them, lots of these. When we played the first time in Nick, in Switzerland, like these were all, but it's not one thing that I can say, well, this is the thing that I remember, there are too many things. Which is too much to remember only one thing.
Great. So as you say, you play in lots of places, almost all over the world. But if there is one place that you didn't play yet, and you especially, you Freddy, want to play, where's that place?
Okay, I mean, I would really enjoy maybe one or two places in the States, like New York or Los Angeles. Well, actually more New York.
Yeah.
But I really would like to play as well is to play once in Canada, because I think Canada is very similar to Switzerland. But somehow we never, it's a big country, but there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So I think this would be an interesting a place to play, since I think it's quite similar to Switzerland. I think it will make sense to play there. Let's put it this way. And just to go there and to do something else completely, would be maybe Iceland.
Yeah.
Just to do something else. Of course, if I say the States, that's a regular thing. Australia, of course, because of Nick, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Since he lived for a long time there. But yeah. Ooh. I would say New York City.